I didn't really realize how amazing this event would be because I was just really busy and I hadn't had a chance to focus on it. And Carmen and Miranda, oh my God, like serious hero worship. Incredible, brave reporting. And I mean, sorry, I'm a little bit gobsmacked, and that really doesn't happen very often, actually. But let me start out by saying thank you for this incredible honor. And, you know, normally when we accept awards in this industry, we're asked to kindly keep our remarks to 30 seconds. So it's actually such a luxury to be able to kind of have your ear for a few minutes, because really what I want to say tonight is a big thank you to all of the people, and there are so many of them, who are a big part of why I'm up on this stage tonight. And we heard it earlier from Miranda, this is not a solo sport, journalism, and especially not TV. This is collaborative, this is teamwork. And so let me start, though, by thanking the ICFJ for putting this award incredible evening together, and also for making that incredible video. I have to question the judiciousness of my decision to give you that photograph of me when I was 13 years old, where I look like a sort of blonde Urkel, but it was a really beautiful, beautiful video, so thank you. And I also want to say thank you for the incredible, vital work that you're doing across the world, giving journalists the training and the tools that they need to make sure that more voices are heard, to challenge power, to invite discourse, and ultimately really to enrich societies. So it's incredible work, and I'm really in awe of what you're doing. I also want to thank all my colleagues at CNN who are here tonight, who have flown, some of them from New York, from Atlanta, to support me. Actually, probably they're really here because Wolf Blitzer is the MC, and he's like the legend of CNN. And thank you, Wolf, for being so supportive since I joined CNN. And I also want to thank, of course, Jeff Zucker and Tony Maddox and Debs Rayner, who have all been so encouraging to me and so generous to me since I came to CNN. And I think that most news heads, when you sort of walk into their office and say, hey, I really have a great idea, I'd like to go to rebel-held Aleppo, where no Western journalist has been for 2 years, would either have an aneurysm or ask you to go and talk to HR about your drug problem. But I'm really fortunate to work with people who, instead of doing that, actually indulged me and sat down with me and spent months with me. I mean, Tony Maddox, how many conference calls did we have to work out a plan and to make it work? And I'm so lucky to be working with people who share the passion that so many of us in this room have for telling stories, for the privilege of occasionally giving a voice to the voiceless, for the privilege of occasionally witnessing history. And I see it all the time in the reporting of so many of my amazing CNN colleagues in front of the camera, behind the camera. Arwa Damon, I mean, wow, talk about bravery. Selma Abdulaziz, Tim Lister. I mean, I'm not going to bore you and go through a huge list of names, but suffice it to say, it's an epic and brilliant team. I also want to thank and acknowledge the fact that some of my other extended family, CBS, are here tonight. I always love you. And particularly that Charlie Rose is being honored tonight, because in addition to being a giant in television, in journalism, he is also a personal mentor of mine and has been, with just incredible generosity since we met each other, I think about 7 or 8 years ago now, across a crowded room in Beijing. And you know, Charlie taught me one of the most valuable lessons in journalism, because I would watch his interviews and I would study his mannerisms and I would read his scripts and I would try to understand what is it that makes this so great, so compelling. And then after spending some more time with Charlie and being fortunate enough to work with him on CBS This Morning, I realized that the brilliance of Charlie and the greatest lesson that you can learn is actually so simple. Be curious, be in the moment, and listen. What a concept, right? Listen, duh. It sounds so easy, but actually we live in a society where more and more it's not about listening, it's about inserting yourself into the narrative. It's about becoming the headline. It's about becoming a character or a personality, developing a brand. And I think often we see ego trumps humility. Talking is more important than listening. And I truly believe that it's so vital for us as journalists to remember that our primary role, our primary responsibility is to listen to people. And by the way, it can't be selective listening. We have to listen to voices that we don't want to hear. And so just the same as I want to tell the story of that mother who lost her daughter to a barrel bomb in Syria, I also have to, as you saw in that video, listen to the extremist ISIS supporter in Europe who won't shake my hand, who won't look me in my eyes, who scathingly calls me a kafira, or a non-believer. And I have a duty, I believe, to understand him. I don't think we can be selective in who we listen to. I don't think we can be selective in who we try to understand. I fundamentally believe we can't afford to dismiss people. And that's not our job. We must pay attention. We live in a world, as everybody here knows, that is getting smaller by the day, but also that is becoming more and more divisive in so many different ways. And these tectonic shifts are taking place all around us. And luckily for us as journalists, we don't have to sort out all the world's problems. But we do have to listen to them. We have to listen to them, and we have to pay attention to them. And I find that to be a really inspiring challenge. And as I said before, it is easier said than done, because to actually sit in an interview as a journalist and instead of thinking what your next question is, listen to what the person is saying, throw your questions away, just be there with that person. It's easier said than done, it really is. And then I just want to, if you'll indulge me, I wanted to, because for years when you're accepting awards and you don't really get a chance to ever say anything personal or thank anyone who is kind of important to your life, I just wanted to close by thanking a few people who have been very good to me, and my agents, Steve Hurst and Carol Perry, who are two of the nicest, smartest people you can meet, who have really taken a chance on me back when I was, I mean, you saw some of the videos there when I was 26 years old at Fox News, freelancing. I went into Baghdad and I said, please, will you let me do some reporting? I had been producing for a while, and they said, well, maybe if you go for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Eve. So I was like, yes, awesome. And then anyway, a few days after Christmas, Saddam Hussein was executed, and I had the most incredible baptism by fire experience getting into TV journalism. But anyway, so I wanted to thank Steve and Carol. I also would be remiss if I did not thank my long-suffering fiance, Philip, who I will be marrying in 10 days' time after 9 years together. Most patient man ever. Thank you for your patience. And last but not least, I really have to thank my amazing and supportive parents, and particularly my mother, who watches CNN 24 hours a day, gives me ideas for stories every single day, who relentlessly challenges me and pushes me, and yes, sometimes makes me a little bit crazy, but without her I would be so much crazier, because the reality is that when you do this job and you go to these places and you see the things we see and you listen to the stories that we hear and you survive it, the future of your sanity is really contingent on the love and support of your family and your friends and your colleagues. And so I just want to close by saying thank you so much for this incredible award, and thank you so much to the other nominees tonight, or the other winners tonight, forgive me, who are truly an inspiration. And thank you so much to my loved ones who have been just an incredible bedrock of support and love to me. And have a beautiful evening. Thank you.